It was a different kind of Passover, to say the least. I remember right when I sat down, Philip, he leaned over to me and said, "Hey, Thomas, I think something special is going to happen tonight." I looked at him and I said, "I don't think so." I was wrong. Jesus, he got up from the table and he went over and grabbed a basin of water and a towel. I remember thinking to myself, what's Jesus doing with the foot water? I doubt he's going to wash anybody's feet. I was wrong. He walked over and began to wash Bartholomew's feet. Bart. He just sat there. Didn't say anything. Didn't move. None of us did. After he finished with him, he went over and started with Andrew and James, and then on to the rest of us. And I remember thinking, this is so weird. Yet it's so wonderful. I doubt anybody's going to speak up now. But then again, I was wrong again. You know who spoke up? Peter.
No way is he going to wash our feet. That's what I told him. He could wash other people's feet, but he wasn't going to wash mine. I said, Jesus, you're not going to wash my feet. I mean, you're the king. He turned to me and said, well, then you can't have anything to do with me. Ouch. Okay. Wash my feet. Wash my hands. Wash my whole body if you have to. He said, no, your feet will be just fine, Peter. In the midst of washing our feet, he was teaching us servanthood.
Jesus then grabbed some bread and some wine, and he served it to us, and he said, this is a new covenant with my blood. Then Jesus told us that tonight, all of you will lose faith in me. I remember thinking, Jesus, lose faith in you? Never. But I just sat there. I didn't say anything.
Well, I couldn't just sit there. I had to say something. I said, Jesus, I love you. You can count on me. Others, they may fall away. Not me. I won't. You can count on me. He turned and smiled and said, Peter, before morning, you will deny me 3 times. Ouch. Next thing I know, we were wrapping things up, and we were heading off to the garden to pray.
Once we got to the garden, that's when things really started to get crazy. Jesus asked Peter, James, and myself to go a little farther into the garden with them to pray. And we did. We tried. We just kept falling asleep. And Jesus just kept waking us up over and over again. In fact, I remember one time, he actually came to me and he said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. That's true. It's all a blur. And to think this whole mess got started because of Judas. I mean, did he honestly think that what he was doing was right?
There he is. He's the one that you want. The one praying by himself. Now the others will come in and they'll cause a scene, but the one I kiss on the cheek, that's the one that you want. 30 pieces of silver. That's what we agreed on. 30 pieces, right? Now forget the rest. The one I kiss on the cheek, that's the one you want.
A kiss? Judas betrays Jesus with the kiss of a friend? That's when things just really went crazy. Peter grabs a sword and chops this guy's ear off. Next thing I know, Jesus is bending over and picking up this guy's ear and just places it back on his head as if nothing happened. and they took him. And yeah, I mean, I'd like to sit here and tell you that we fought for him, but no, we didn't. We were scared. And everybody ran. I ran. I'm so ashamed.
What have I done? What have I done? How could I be so stupid? I killed him. I killed him. I crucified Christ.
I crucified Jesus. That's what the crowd wanted, and that's what they got. Personally, I don't think that man did anything to deserve that, but I was just a soldier doing my job. When the governor gave his order, that's when I would go to work. I loved that job. I felt like I was administering justice every time I nailed someone to a tree. But that man didn't deserve that. It didn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense. There I was sitting in this jail cell, rotting away for murder, stealing, you name it, I've done it. I knew the next time I stepped out of that cell, that was it. And the guards came, they got me, they took me outside and stood me up next to this man that'd been beaten to a pulp. Then Governor Pilate started asking the crowd, which of these two men should we let go? I mean, it was obvious. I knew what they were going to say. Let Jesus go. And then I was going to tell them where they could go. But then, the crowd, they started yelling, Barabbas, Barabbas. I mean, they were yelling my name, my name. Couldn't believe it. The guards, they tossed me out into the crowd, and then they started leading Jesus off to Golgotha. I mean, 1 minute, I'm marked for death, and the next, I'm a free man. It makes no sense. So, I followed them to Golgotha.
I was stationed at Golgotha that day. We had just raised the second criminal when they brought him to me. I'll never forget the way he looked. He'd been beaten, spit on, whipped, unrecognizable as a man. Hideous. What was left of his clothes was stripped off of him, and he was thrown down on the cross, and that's when I went to work. Generally, when you crucify a man, the first hand is the hardest. The criminal wants to try to get away, and he fights you, so I would have 2 other soldiers hold him down. But this man, he didn't put up a fight. I just thought he was exhausted. As an executioner, I've been called every name in the book. I've had men yell at me, plead with me. But I wasn't prepared for that. He looked at us. He looked at me. And he said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. He forgave me.
Forgive them. He said, forgive them. I mean, who is he? Forgive? I mean, should have been me up on that cross. He took my place. I looked up at him, and with one last deep, agonizing breath, he said, "It is finished." And then he died.
Surely, this was the Son of God.